Chapter 4. Shadows in the Market. Part 2. Reflections of the Soul. The silvery mist swirled around me, cool and ethereal. For a moment, I felt suspended in nothingness, my senses dulled. Then, like a veil being lifted, the world came into focus. I found myself standing in a familiar place, my office in the Crossroads district, but something was off. The usual clutter was gone, replaced by gleaming magical artifacts and rare tomes. The peeling wallpaper had been replaced with rich, dark wood paneling. Through the window I could see Quandaria sprawled out below, but it was different, grander, cleaner, more magical. A voice spoke behind me, and I whirled around to find myself, but not quite. This version of Corvus Blackthorn stood tall and confident, dressed in fine robes instead of my usual worn coat. "Welcome," my doppelganger said with a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "To what could be?" I raised an eyebrow, my hand instinctively reaching for my wand only to find it missing. "And what exactly is this?" The other Corvus spread his arms wide. "Success, prestige, power, everything you've ever wanted. With the key of eternity, you could reshape Quandaria, reshape the world in your image. No more scraping by on petty cases, no more being looked down upon by the magical elite." As he spoke, images flashed around us. Me, standing before the city council, being hailed as a hero. Accepting awards, accolades, wielding magic beyond imagination. I felt a pull, a longing. It was tempting, so tempting. But then I noticed something. In each image, I was alone. "At what cost?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. The other Corvus's smile turned cold. "Only everything that holds you back." The scene shifted, dissolving into mist before reforming. Now I stood in the Undercity in Grimlock's shop, but it was in ruins, magical items scattered and broken. Grimlock himself lay motionless on the floor, his eyes staring sightlessly at the ceiling. Horror gripped me. "What is this?" "Failure," a new voice said. I turned to see another version of myself, this one haggard and beaten down, clothes tattered. This is what happens when you're not strong enough, not smart enough. When you let others down. The scene changed again, faster now. Lyria, her black eyes accusing as she fell into an abyss. Quandaria in flames, the veiled hand triumphant. Myself, locked away in the depths of some magical prison, forgotten and alone. "Stop it," I growled, squeezing my eyes shut. But the images continued to assault me, playing out on the inside of my eyelids. "You can't hide from the truth, Corvus Blackthorn." The voices of my other selves spoke in unison. "This is who you are, a man torn between ambition and fear, between the desire for greatness and the terror of failure." I fell to my knees, my head pounding. The visions swirled faster and faster, a cacophony of might-have-beens and could-be's. And then, in the midst of the chaos, a moment of clarity. I saw myself as I truly was, not the powerful mage of my ambitions, nor the broken failure of my fears. Just Corvus Blackthorn, private investigator, a man with flaws and strengths, doubts and convictions. I saw the cases I'd solved, the people I'd helped, not for glory or riches, but because it was right. I saw the connections I'd made, Grimlock's gruff friendship, Lyria's growing trust. "Enough," I said, my voice steady. I stood, facing down the swirling visions of my other selves. "I see your game now, Keeper. You wanted to show me my truths. Well, here they are." I took a deep breath, centering myself. I've got ambitions, sure, and plenty of fears to go with them. But I'm not defined by what I could be, or what I'm afraid of becoming. I'm defined by my choices, here and now. The mist around me began to calm, the chaotic visions fading. I choose to stand with my friends. I choose to protect Quandaria, not for glory, but because it's my home. And I choose to see this case through, whatever the cost. As I spoke the last words, the silvery mist dissipated entirely. I found myself back in the old market square, standing in the now empty fountain. Lyria and Grimlock rushed forward, concern etched on their faces. "Corvus," Lyria called out. "Are you all right? You were in there for hours." I blinked, surprised. It had felt like only minutes. "I'm fine," I said, my voice hoarse. "Just had a lot to think about." Grimlock offered a hand, helping me out of the fountain. The air shimmered, and the keeper materialized before us. "You have faced your reflections and emerged whole. Few manage such a feat." With a wave of their hand, a small object appeared floating in the air between us. It was another fragment of the key, pulsing with an inner light that matched the two we already possessed. "The choices you make from here on will shape not just your fate, but the fate of Quandaria itself." I reached out, taking the fragment. As my fingers closed around it, I felt a surge of energy, a connection forming with the other pieces. "Thank you," I said to the keeper. "But I have to ask, why? Why all this? Why not just give us the fragment or keep it hidden?" The keeper's form began to fade, their voice growing distant. "Because, Corvus Blackthorn, the true power of the key lies not in its magic, but in the hearts of those who wield it. Remember that in the trials to come." And with that, they were gone, leaving us alone in the square with our newly acquired fragment and a host of unanswered questions. I turned to Lyria and Grimlock, holding up the key piece. "Well, that's 3 down, 4 to go, but something tells me it's only going to get harder from here." Lyria nodded, her black eyes serious. "Indeed, and we must move quickly. The veiled hand will not be far behind." As if in response to her words, a distant explosion rocked the old market, followed by screams and the sound of running feet. Grimlock growled, his hand disappearing into his beard to grip some hidden weapon. "Looks like our friends have found us," I sighed, drawing my wand. "Just once. I'd like to catch a break." "Is that too much to ask?"